Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be part of this conversation. And Vanina, sorry, thank you for the introduction. As you already know, my name is Vanessa, and I currently teach Bulgarian language and literature. I have been working as a teacher for 2 years now, but I've got 5 years of previous teaching experience. I want to underline that I won't talk about how some students struggle to participate in digital learning simply because they don't have reliable internet access and or technology. To start with, we know that students today inhabit or used to inhabit the digital world that was their world. Now their perception of it has transformed. At the beginning of the process, they didn't have the tools, the skills with which to operate in this new digital environment. Therein lies the problem with their inability to communicate and behave in a proper way. And even now, 3 months later, 3 months or four, yeah, it is still difficult for some of them to follow the predefined way of formal communication in the digital world. Also, e-learning has given the students more freedom than most of them can handle. It should be highlighted that I can only talk through my own experience in teaching literature, which is very different than teaching maths or computer classes, for instance, because in general, even in the real world, we literary teachers have a problem with motivating students to read deeply and thoughtfully. Now we have to push them even more. This is related to the young students' online reading habits. In the digital world, they don't really read, they scroll through the text and only skim it. And unfortunately, in my online teaching experience, my students haven't been as good at recalling information as they usually are in the classroom. Not only do they lack the self-control to manage the distractions of online reading and learning, but they've got a lot of new distractions when the time to use the information that they have gathered comes. They are unable to comprehend in the same speed as they usually do in the classroom. Also, I only want to stress that it's much more difficult to inspire young people to read or to think critically using only the internet. They need real contact in order to feel inspired, moved, or even changed. When you teach, you need to keep your students' attention. And using digital resources is not the same as relying on your body language, for instance. But having all of these things in mind, we should also emphasize on the benefits of e-learning for students. For example, they feel more relaxed. And also I want to believe that most of my students have improved their self-discipline. Furthermore, they are engaged to connect with one another, empathize with each other, help each other. And the best thing about online learning, in my opinion, during the lockdown, paradoxically, is that students became aware of the real world, a world in which you have strict deadlines, you have specific platforms you need to use, and so on. At least now, I think that most of students know how to talk and behave online, which is very important. And to conclude, I think that the future of education is not only learning in a physical classroom or in a digital one, but in both. Digital and print literacies can support one another under the right conditions. In this context, I want to ask you, what do you think? Do we need a hybrid module of both teaching practices in order to turn the students into thinkers and citizens of the world? Not only the digital one, of course, but the real one. And in this world, after the pandemic, I mean, how can we give them the knowledge how to use freedom, digital and non-digital freedom? And that brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.